Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. We're coming fresh off of the last episode there in Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway now, as we are looking forward to, of course, having a shot going road racing to maybe get a nice top 10 result here today, maybe even compete for a victory. Last time we went road racing, well, that was Mid-Ohio earlier in the season where we got our first career pole here in our rookie season in the NASCAR Cup Series. Obviously, things didn't quite work out long run in that race, but hopefully we can change the narrative here today in Sonoma out here in California. Now, as we arrived at the circuit, I decided to not do any practice, so we're actually going to jump straight through into qualifying. We're going to show, though, the whole qualifying lap here now to kind of get up to our bearings here, you could say, in Sonoma. Got the Nutrien green and white colors back on the car for the second episode in a row as we kick off our qualifying attempt here, going up the elevation through turns 1, 2, and 3, as well, I call it turns 1, 2, and 3. Now, as you can see, immediately a mistake right there. That's going to cost us a lot of time, so don't want to do that. And basically pole already gone, unlike Mid-Ohio where we put together a good enough lap, of course. So not what we wanted, and of course this is not the 2023 version of Sonoma, so we turn right and go into the infield section instead, the boring and sucky section, I like to call it here. So glad that NASCAR ended up going back to the good layout, of course, after only a few attempts of this one. Now, one thing to note, AJ Allmendinger not actually in the 16 car, or 13 car, and that's due to personal reasons, totally not me just forgetting to change his, AI into that car. So, Chandler Smith in the 13, and actually colleague racing with a lot of input from Allmendinger in the setup of all three cars this weekend should give colleague racing a lot of speed, not only for myself but for my teammate of Justin Haley, as well as my part-time teammate of Chandler Smith. As we come through the S is another second mistake here on the qualifying lap. That's going to really hurt us now. That's probably going to put us down to, I would say, somewhere around 20th. Fortunately, you can make mistakes on a road course in qualifying and still get a pretty good competitive position out of it. So we're going to come through this final hairpin. I mean, the goal is a 137.370. We're still, even with those mistakes, we're going to absolutely shatter that goal as we come through to the line. It's going to be a very high 135.945, and that is going to be P19. So still a decent qualifying effort, gives us a fighting chance in the race. You see the rest of the qualifying order there. We got Chris Tate for Three Friends Racing back in the field for the second race in a row as well. Allgaier rounding out the top 20. You see the rest of the order. How about Brendan Poole with the top 15? Haley in the top 10 on pole, however. Chandler Smith in the 13. Ty Gibbs will join him on the front row. So a huge upset right there on pole position in that 13 car. Reddick as well, Bell and Elliott the rest of the top 5. We had trucks in Xfinity racing this weekend as well. Here's the truck finishing order from Gateway. As you can see, Chase Purdy, by the way, been on an absolute tear lately here. Would not be surprised to see him get the call up to the Xfinity Series next season. Speaking of Xfinity, here's the finishing order from Sonoma. Brandon Jones picked up the victory in the number 9 JRM Chevrolet Camaro. So to now the playoffs he will go, and that will set us up nicely for Sunday afternoon racing in the Cup Series. Let's get ready to go green.
We're back road racing in sunny California. Welcome fans to Sonoma Raceway, fresh off of Kyle Busch's second win of the year in Gateway. The story has been on him, but how about Christopher Bell's impressive stretch, guys?
Thanks, Chris. Bell has been on fire recently. He's now on a multi-race streak of top 5 finishes and now heads to a road course, which we know he's strong at.
Watch for that 20 car today for sure. He's 100% now the early title favorite in my eyes.
Alright boys, one of my favorite types of racetracks, of course, on the schedule, so I don't see why we can't have a good top 10 run, maybe even go for a win.
I agree, do what you did in Ohio, without the spin, of course.
Ready to roll then here from this Toyota Save Mart 350 from Sonoma Raceway. Chandler Smith dominant all weekend long so far, of course, on pole position. Austin Dillon, safe with friends. Very, very cool. Zane Smith, however, failed technical inspection. He goes from starting at the back to starting in the back as we're going to get ready to roll. Briefly saw the three friends racing Camaro there with Chris Tate behind the wheel now as we are ready to roll here from Sonoma Raceway alongside the 42 of Justin Allgaier. We are green flag racing here in Sonoma, California now. Stages are a thing here in this 2023 version of NASCAR Heat 5. I can look at turning stage cautions off for future road courses. However, I would have to turn stages completely off, so we would not get any stage points. So let me know what you guys immediately would rather see. Stages, so we still get the points, but there would be a caution, or slightly more accuracy to real life where there's no cautions, but there's also no stage points because the stages would be completely off. And we would only get cautions for, you know, a big accident, something like that. So a decent start here, though, in Sonoma, around the outside of Kevin Harvick there in that Busch Light Ford Mustang. His final time here at Sonoma, now diving up the inside of the most recent NASCAR Cup Series winner of Michael McDowell there in the number 34. You're going to probably see a pace increase from that 34 now in this NASCAR Heat 5 career mode over the coming episodes. But up to P17 now as we put pressure on the back of the 5 of Kyle Larson. Already going to make a move up the inside. He gets into the back of Logano Hamlin with trouble there in front of us as well. He nearly goes around, and it's getting physical early on here in Sonoma. It looks like everybody's going to be able to survive and make it through on this first of 5 laps. In this stage, Hamlin stomps on the brake pedal. We get to the back of him there briefly, but we keep on going there, so we're going to get this all sorted out. And now actually out of the kink towards the final hairpin. A big move up the inside on the 11 FedEx Toyota Camry. Just had enough momentum to sail it off in there. So we'll clear Hamlin on the exit of the corner now and then try to close in on Larson, Blaney, Bowman as well. And look at this run I got out of the long sweeping left carousel here, 3 wide as we head down into the braking zone. This group of cars was being held up by one specific car, not that 51 of Brennan Poole that I got into right there as we let him have a bit of a break, but it's the 67 of Kurt Busch whose struggles continue, and he is just holding up everybody, running in P10 right now, but you know he's struggling when he's got a Rick Ware Racing Ford Mustang putting pressure on him. And Brennan Poole, can't say enough about him, having a great run here in Sonoma 3 laps ago in stage 1, and here he goes up the inside now. I go a little bit wide, that allows Larson up my inside, now to the outside of course he goes of me as we come up the elevation here side by side with the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion now. As you can see, Brennan Poole is going to get the position. Kurt Busch drops to P11. He continues to try and fight. I lose a spot there to Kyle Larson, and Poole would drive away. We're all over the back of Larson now, trying to push him forward, but here we go. We're going to make it 3 wide again. Kurt Busch so slow as we go into the braking zone, clearing Larson. Actually, a little bit of contact right there. I kind of cleared myself. Larson would go a little bit wide and actually lose the spot back to the number 67, but he would quickly pass back Kurt Busch and start to put some pressure on me late in this first and opening stage here, which was being dominated by our teammate of the 13 of Chandler Smith. But a physical start to this race, not only from myself, but other drivers, of course, as well. Final lap of stage 1 underway here. Now Larson within a few car lengths here. Now with the caution is going to fly towards the end of the stage, so that will end it a little bit early. No stage points, unfortunately. Chandler Smith wins stage number 1 over Christopher Bell, who has been on an absolute tear lately. Cindric, Gibbs, Elliott, the rest of the top 5 with Reddick, Busher, Suarez, Haley, and Brennan Poole, the rest of the top 10. Everybody's going to stay out here and get ready to go back racing. So far, some really good racing here as I'm looking to see. It looks like Ty Dillon brought out the caution there, as you see Herbst and Smith, as well as Chris Tate, LaJoie, Stenhouse there, all towards the bottom of the grid now. As you can see, this actually happened. This was not the caution. This was with 2 to go. And the stage, Hamlin actually wrecks trying to pass his driver of Kurt Busch right there. So those two come together. I talked about the physicality. It's here. It's real in this race in Sonoma so far. Will it change in stage 2? We're going to find out. We're back underway right on the rear bumper of my teammate of Justin Haley. The part-timer teammate, of course, Smith, wins stage 1. He tanks off up the hill as we head through these first couple of corners, trying to be a little bit cautious and give the 31 some space to work with and try to let him do his thing here now in these opening moments of the stage. However, look at this up front on the track map. It looks like like Christopher Bell might have an opportunity to get the lead and get clear of the 13 of Smith now as we are side by side with Larson as we come up over top of the hill now, heading down into the right-hander now. As you can see us try to stick around the outside. This is a really good opportunity. This is a section of this racetrack where you can really gain some time. I mean, look at us. We clear the 5 right to the back of my teammate of Haley, still catching or giving him a bit of a break here, just kind of letting him do his thing and get this sorted out. Now, I'm also going to try and follow him through the inside of that 51 of Brennan Poole, but a run like this is how Brennan Poole gets a call up here for a better team at some point in his career. But we clear that 51 up the inside of Haley, now down into the braking zone to the back of Suarez. The 17 is going to go around, and now the 99 nearly goes around. I get driven in from behind, contact everywhere. The 31 is wide, runs into the side of us. We make contact with the 51 of Poole. Here comes Ryan Blaney. Busher doesn't even lose a whole lot of track position after Foley spinning round. Now the 51 stomping on the brakes. What is absolutely going on here? It is insanity in Sonoma on this opening lap of stage 2, and what has been a physical race so far continues on. As we continue, Larson gets clear on the exit of this sweeper right there, and down to P12 we go out of all of that, but it wasn't over. We stick with these guys and continue to try and fight with them around the outside of Larson, who's going to run wide and run me off the circuit. Deserved that. We ran him off a little bit earlier there in stage 1, so that was warranted. No big deal between myself and the 5 as I would continue to try and follow him, and he would get past Brennan Poole, and here I am trying to go around the outside and out the inside of the 51 myself, but a bit of curb right there, so I would have to wait. And watch this. We're going to full send it into the sweeping left carousel there. A little bit too much send, though. We go way wide, nearly into the grass, and that allows him to go back through up the inside, so we would have to send it again up the inside here into the right-hander. This time it will be successful, and we bring Chris Busher with us, so I thought, but he goes wide, and Truex would force it 3 wide. If you're enjoying the action here, make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. It's absolutely fantastic here. There was so much more physicality. Here's the Razor Machine. Byron getting run into by Ross the Boss, Watermelon Toss, and Chastain right there. As now 3 laps to go on the stage. Points available for us here as I'm closing in on the back of Ryan Blaney. Christopher Bell out in front here now of that 13 of Chandler Smith, and Blaney sucks right now. We're going to go around the outside and clear him into the carousel. So up into P10 now as Larson was putting some pressure on my teammate, but he couldn't quite get past him, and I was faster than the 31. Not faster than the 5, I don't think, but the 5 did struggle to pass his 31, so it brought me right to his rear bumper. But you're going to see in these final 2 laps of the stage, Larson right here, he's going to look up the inside of that 31, maybe a tad bit of contact, hard to tell, but now Larson runs him wide and runs wide himself there as I cut the 31 a bit of a break here for, what, the second time I feel like in this second stage basically here. So we stay tucked in for now, but look at the pace difference. That 31 is fading. Larson's continuing to go forwards. A lot of speed out of the 2021 Sonoma race winner here now as we get a run on the exit of the sweeper there, nearly into the dirt. We're going to swing up the inside. Unexpected move on the 31, I'm sure, but into the hairpin. We're going to be able to pass our colleague teammate, but hold on, he pinches me down really hard, and that's going to make it a drag race here as we approach the final lap of stage number 2 now around the outside. Hopefully as we head down towards that first turn we can probably chomp the nose a little bit. Yes, we do. Up at a P9 here now, so looking at 2 stage points, which, you know, is a very little number, but compared to how our season's gone so far with the stage points, I will take 2 points gladly now, of course, in this current bubble situation we find ourselves in as well. Christopher Bell, he wins stage number 2. Chandler Smith just crossed the line now. 3rd place, which I believe is Austin Cindric or Ty Gibbs, is just now crossing the stripe here. So that 20 is in his own league. The 13's in a league of his own, but not close enough right now to the 20. And then 3rd place on down, I think, is really just up for grabs for anybody now. You see Larson, Suarez, 8th and 7th there as we end up P9, and all colleague cars in the top 10 here in stage 2, and it's Austin Cindric in 3rd over Gibbs, who's been having a tear lately as well. Reddick there in 5th having a good run. Of course, you expect Gibbs and Reddick both to perform well on road courses. Same for Austin Cindric, Suarez. There's so many drivers now that really come into their own at road races. No repairs. It would take 2 seconds, and it didn't feel like it was affecting the cars. So 4 tires, feel, no adjustments, no repairs. We're going to deal with it and get ready to go green for one more stage of racing where we gain 2 spots. Gibbs loses 4 positions. Larson loses a spot to us. Chandler Smith lost some ground. He's right in front of us. Ty Dillon he's up in third. I don't think he pitted or he just took less fuel. He probably took less fuel because remember, he brought out a caution earlier and he pitted. That ended stage 1 if I remember correctly, so it put him in a bit of a different position to where now he is up here in the mix for who knows how long as we come through up the inside now. As you can see, Smith driving away now, and we got that 54 of Gibbs on our right side for Joe Gibbs Racing. Two of us battling for Rookie of the Year. We've been ahead all season long, but that gap continues to get closer and closer as Gibbs has been on an absolute tear lately, not only here today, but I mean, you look at other tracks in the last, 5-6 races, he's really picked it up in that number 54 Toyota Camry there for Joe Gibbs Racing. Now up the inside of the 54 of Tyler Reddick now, as we're going to try and pass him. Ty Dillon there just in front of us, so we're going to have to deal with this number 77 as well here now as we go through the right-hander. What in the world was that? The 45 just decided he was going to go straight on the apex and run into the side of us, so not very impressed with that one, of course, with the number 45. If I get back to him, I am wrecking him. You hear the radio transmission here, but I'm probably going to end up just like 95% of other NASCAR drivers that say I'm going to wreck them and then I don't do anything when I get back to them. And we're probably going to get back relatively easy, I thought, but Reddick would make quick work on the 77, so I would have to pass the 77 myself here now. And as we come up the elevation, we will be able to pass Ty Dillon here momentarily now, but he's not going to make it easy. But this is an overtake, of course, to enter the top 5. This pit cycle, this recent one, has really shaken things up and it allowed us to have a good opportunity. So up at a P5 we go, and we were quickly closing the gap to this number 45 of Tyler Reddick. Now 10 laps to go. We can make it on field to the end of the stage. The question is more so, well, we see a caution. But we continue to close this gap to this number 45, lap 20, and look at this, we are right to the bumper, but look who's on my bumper, the part-time teammate of Chandler Smith. It wasn't even supposed to be in this car. Won a stage, has been so strong through the right sweeping hander, and here we go to the back of the 45, and you know what, we're going to try and pass him clean. Down into the final hairpin we go side by side with the 45, and now contact, and I think that was the 13 who just pushed right through us on the exit of the hairpin, so we pass Reddick, but now even our part-time teammates getting physical potentially here as we continue on across the stripe. 8 laps to go, not going to make it easy on the 13. We nearly get into his left rear quarter panel there. We go up the hill and unfortunately just struggling to get back clear of Smith now as we continue on, going a little bit wide right there, catching a bit of the grass now, and he's going to get clear as we come through the second sequence of kind of up the hill through the S's now and sideways there, and that allows Reddick back up my inside here into the right-hander now, and he's going to hit us in the right rear, and this time it's going to put us off track. That's the second time in the last few laps. 3 wide it was briefly. Larson gets a 2-for-1 special, and now I said, okay, it's time. Just give the bumper to the back of the 45, and I actually helped him. I put him up the inside of Kyle Larson, but another opportunity arises a few moments later. We're going to just shove the 45 so far down into the corner that I am able to clear the 5 as we go up the inside, and job's done. I wasn't trying to wreck him, just shove him out of the way, and I would say mission accomplished there for 5th position. So we get Larson and we get the 45. This was a replay with the 13. He never actually touched me. So that contact was with the 45, which I felt, but I thought it was the 13 hitting me. Blaney getting run into by the 19 of Truex. There's so much physicality in this race. Here's Chase Briscoe running into the side of the 23 of Bubba Wallace there, trying to get some work done on him. I mean, the physicality has been insane. Definitely the most, physical race I've ever had in Heat 5 at Sonoma Raceway, maybe just in Heat 5 in general. Christopher Bell hoping it stays green, of course, leading with 5 laps to go. Larson now up to 6, trying to chase me down again. Honestly, I think Larson has the quickest car here today with how well he's been able to pass at a track that AI struggled to pass at. The caution is out with 4 laps to go. We're a P5. We have a chance here. Chandler Smith, 3rd, over Chase Elliott. I was still, at this point, unaware that the 13 did not pile drive me in that final hairpin. Like I said, when we were 3 wide with him and Reddick in the final hairpin, I thought he bulldozed into my quarter panel and shot me into the 45, but that was not the case. So I didn't realize that at the time, and you're going to see, I certainly am going to, of course, try to get a little bit physical with the 13. Now we're going to get back underway here from Sonoma. It's NASCAR overtime on the front row. It's Christopher Bell, 2 wins on the season, of course, on an absolute streak of top 5s here in the last few episodes. Now that was mentioned by a commenter in the last video. Cindric, of course, looking for the first win of his sophomore second season in the NASCAR Cup Series in that number 2 car. Smith looking for his first win in in the Cup Series. Elliott would like to get win number 3. Larson wants win number 1. I want my first win in the NASCAR Cup Series as a Cup Series rookie as well, and well, we know that 13 does too. As we continue on the outside, the 9 car struggles to get out of the corner. Bell is still side by side and now clear. Cindric to the lead here, of course. He has not quite had the road course success I think we expected from him in the Cup Series. He is a road ringer after all, but it might change today as he leads the way out of the carousel with 2 to go. He's already long down the road, him and Bell are, compared to myself and Smith here now, as I want to make quick work of this 13 to get myself into the conversation for the win. So I said, you know what, get out of here, move him out of the way, get into the side of the 13. That's the way everybody's raced today. If that's how it's going to be, I'm going to do it. Like I said, I didn't realize he didn't hit me when we were in that battle with the 45 and the hairpin. If we didn't have that contact that I thought we had, I would have never ran into him. But like I said, there was obviously no contact, and I found that out after the race. So I was stupid right there for making that move. But we crossed the stripe. White flag in the air. Cindric leads. Bell second. We are too far back, obviously, to make a move. The only hope we have is Bell makes a move, and maybe they get really aggressive on each other, because even through halfway through the lap, I'm not making any progress. I'm able to stay about the same. I can maintain, but that's the best I can do. Hoping Bell makes a move right here, because this is his only shot. And here he goes, up the inside of the 2 on the final lap. Contact there between the 2 leaders now. Will they hit again? Yes, they will. He runs him wide. Cindric off circuit. Here we go. We're into the conversation on the right side of the Discount Tire Ford Mustang now into the left-hander. Cindric runs wide. He goes crashing now as we continue on. We're going to spin ourselves out over the curb. Oncoming traffic coming right at us, including our teammate. There goes Smith through into second. Bell is cruising to his 3rd win of the season. The hot streak's going to continue. Elliott clear as well. Down into 4th place we go on what's been an absolutely insane, dramatic race, and it ends in a dramatic final lap change of events. And now we dive one up the inside out of frustration on the 9 of Chase Elliott. We're going to run into his door, and now we're going to drag race down this front stretch here now with the 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. A little bit of contact there with Elliott. Smith is second as Bell wins here in Sonoma. We cross the stripe holding off the 9, and Elliott immediately after the race on the cooldown lap going to run us into the door there to voice or show his displeasure. Here's another look. Watch this. The 2 runs wide, wrecks himself. That screws up my line because he plowed me, and that put me over top of the curb. And the physics of NASCAR Heat 5 strike, and that spun us around. Even without that crash, we were not close enough to the 20. We weren't going to win the race unless I went, full send into that final hairpin, and I don't even think that would have worked with how much I would have had to send it. So yeah, Suarez, by the way, ends up 39th after running top 10 all race long here now, as you're going to see some points from all 3 series. Purdy, the only multi-time winner in the truck scene, is at 4. Smith and Kligerman, top of the board. No wins for either of them. But what a race. What a race here in Sonoma. Definitely the craziest one of the season. We were physical. Everybody was physical. Everybody is very unhappy with each other here today in Sonoma. Now everyone was angry out there, driving mad. Absolutely insane. But Bell, with his 3rd win on the season, this guy cannot be stopped. Leads the regular season championship, of course, as well. As you can see right now, we are now back into the playoffs with a strong run. 14 points ahead of Haley, 17 over Kurt Busch, 19 over Bowman, who falls out after a DNF. Truex and Gibbs are getting closer and closer, however, so we gotta watch out for them. We go to Kentucky in the next one, and I'm hearing there might be an announcement on a new team in the Cup Series for next season. Stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.